times that we live in, which is we're all living in a pandemic. I know it's been 2 years now. It seems like every time it's about to end, it doesn't. But we wanted to make sure that the resources and the support that companies need today are available for them today, not 4 months from now, not 6 months from now, not 18 months from now. And, some of the programs are much longer, and that's totally fine. We're about actively getting the support, resources, and connections to you and building that community so that you can instantly start implementing some of these practices and some of these connections in order to elevate your business. So the idea here is, with behind pre-X is X, whatever your X is. Maybe you're pre-revenue, maybe you're pre-funding, pre-customer, an accelerator program that you want to apply to, and you need his support in order to be able to advance your business. This program's for you. We've gotten companies that need help. As I said, they're already generating millions of dollars in revenue and they need help exiting. And so they're pre-exit. And so this program, again, is for them. As I mentioned, what gives us sort of this insight and capability is that we've been doing this work for over 10 years. For over a decade, we were probably one of the only investment programs in the state that invests 100% local dollars into local companies and entrepreneurs. And so whatever your next step is, we invite you to participate with us. Next slide. So if you're looking to scale, if you're looking to fundraise, as I mentioned, our entire sort of focus is about bringing together Hawaii entrepreneurs, building that community. Not sure where that feedback is, but I'll keep going. Building that community and allowing the cohort companies to work with each other. We take a sort of a different approach to some of the things. We've, as you saw on previous slides, have designed a lot of programs. We kind of trimmed it down to look at what are some of those core things. For us, it is absolutely about relationships and connections as a foundation and leading with a spirit of aloha in everything that we do, whether it's in life or within business. So next slide. Second to last slide, we'll wrap it up. We actually are currently recruiting. So we have a cohort that got extended, a cohort application period that got extended to January. And so the first step in the application for pre-X, it's a little survey, kind of give us an introduction as to who you are. It's available on our website. You can see that link below. It only takes about 10 minutes to fill out. And again, this is the first step in us getting to know each other, seeing if we're a good fit with each other, and moving forward from there. The program dates are there at the top. Again, it's a very accelerated program. It's meant to be so. It's intense. But we are also cognizant of the fact that, we have day jobs, whether it's our business or something else, right? And so we work around the schedule of the cohort companies and the founders. I will tell you that all the companies and all the founders have said it's intense, but it's been extremely rewarding. And, they've been very happy to go through it. This program is free. I didn't mention that. It's 100% free. We don't take any equity. We don't take any money from you. It is 100% free. Again, these are different times. And so we should change up our programs to support you, the entrepreneurs and the founders here in Hawaii. So next slide. Mahalo, everyone, for giving me a chance to share about our latest program. You can easily reach out to us at any of the social media platforms below. I'm not too savvy on social media. Well, I am, but I don't really enjoy it that much. But I promise somebody from the team will respond. So I'd be happy to answer any questions now.
I don't have any questions in the chat box, but I do have a comment from Wendy Acosta.
Yes.
She says, both cohorts are worth big learning curve, but well worth it. So a good promo for your program there. And I just want to remind everyone that Max is posting the contact links in the chat box, and you also have those in the agenda. And I also want to remind you, as you're listening to the presentations, if you could go ahead and post your questions into the chat box. We do have a limited amount of time in between each presentation for your questions. Mahalo.
Hey, Omar, it's Ian. Thanks for that, Nāpua. I have one question. Omar, what's the best thing we can do at this point to increase the pipeline or to I guess, fill the pipeline in the middle and high school level for this kind of work?
I think that's a great question. In 2019, we actually launched a youth accelerator program that was investment backed. So we provided some funding to the companies, to the youth, right, in order to work on their projects. I do think that there is greater support needed in that area. A lot of times, even though the funders aren't saying that they're looking for a return, the funders in Hawaii, they are, right, in some sort of fashion. And so if we can talk about like the different forms of capital, not just financial capital, and look at those metrics of return, I think that would be enormously beneficial, right? Because you're right, Ian, there is no age to entrepreneurship or innovation, right? And so the more that we can support youth entrepreneurs, the better. Some of them are coming up with really crazy ideas that I had to do research on in order to continue to support them, like carbon scrubbers, right? And then using those, solidifying it into like a building block. I won't give away his secret sauce, and then using that as building material. I was an 11-year-old, and he had schematics.
That, Omar?
I do want to stress also that it's not just tech-based. Like I use that one because it's far out there, but there are other youth that were doing amazing things as well. That wasn't just tech-based. So the program, all of our programs are always stage and sector agnostic. We don't believe in pigeonholing entrepreneurs here in Hawaii, and rather we should be serving them, not they're serving our programs, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you, Omar. And next up, we have Dan Tyson from SCORE, and he'll be presenting to us on the topics of mentorship and business education.
Good afternoon. My name is Dan Tyson. I'm a volunteer at SCORE Hawaii. I was asked to present in a very short feud, so I apologize if my slides aren't so well organized. Basically, SCORE is an organization. It's a national organization, has over 300 chapters throughout the nation. And over the years, since I think it was formed in 1964, we have over 10,000 volunteers and at this moment. And over the years, I've been told that the SCORE has mentored over 11 million entrepreneurs. So basically, we provide a free mentoring service, one-to-one mentoring service to clients who apply to be mentored. The process starts with a client logging onto a score.org website and ask for a mentor. And if they're located on Oahu or within these islands of Hawaii, one of us would be assigned to provide that mentoring service. I really believe that we're one of the best kept secrets in business service, and it is incumbent on us to each of us in the organization to get the word out that we're available. That we right now in chapter in Honolulu, we have over 20 retired active business people with decades of experience who typically own and operates businesses, and they're willing to devote their time to assist entrepreneurs who or small business managers that needs assistance in whatever the endeavor that they may be involved in. I've had people that contacted me who owned a small liquor store and was having problem with employees who were stealing their merchandise, to even mechanic who wanted to break out and start their own shops. And so it's a very interesting and a rewarding experience personally for me, because as a retired guy and with many years of working in business, it allows me to stay relevant and use some of the experience I've had to provide good advice, guidance, and whatever other 2 cents that I might be able to provide. Next slide, please. I just went through and listed some of the clients that typically we would have coming onto our website and asking for a mentoring service. Many of those are startup issues. They're finding money issues. We've had people that wanted to do crowdfunding, venture capital. I'm glad that I listened to Omar's presentation, because now I have one other reference I could use to provide some more information to clients. People, HR issues is very common. Marketing and sales issues, and just fundamentally business planning, and not only the actual formal business planning documentation, but also thinking about business as something that they could plan for. Many people start business because they feel like doing something that would make money. So like myself, when I was in my early 20s, I started many businesses with some of my friends, and some of those things panned out, others didn't. But if I had some mentor, I probably could have done a lot better and avoided a lot of the pain and aggravation, especially like in tax issues and entity issues. Entrepreneurs, young people who have a great idea, scrubbing carbon, I think that'd be a great idea. But how would you take that to market and have a realistic opportunity to make it into a business? We would love to be able to mentor someone with that type of an idea. And doing some business analysis, some clients would come in with jumbles of information. They really don't understand why they're not making any money. And so sometimes we have financial experts in our chapter that would go in and help them sort through their numbers, and to explain that maybe they're selling their product at below their cost. And sometimes when lots of monies are coming in, they do not realize that they're losing money until they've pretty much emptied out their bank account. And as I mentioned, business plan development. And we have had students call us, want us to help them with business plan for their maybe business classes that they're taking. We had teachers call us and ask us to come to make presentation to their students in a classroom setting. And there are other interested parties that sometimes they would reach out to us. And I had one grandfather call me and asked me to reach out to his grandson, because he thought his grandson was going off the reservation and trying to start this business. So we get all kinds, but we provide this service for free, and we don't want this to be kept a secret. We have a lot of expertise in our organization. So if anyone listening are interested in starting a business or are already running a business, please feel free to go to score.org and ask for a mentoring service. And I think that concludes my presentation.
Mahalo, Dan. I don't have any questions in the chat box for you. But again, Dan's information and contact information will be posted in the chat box in the
Okay, I think we're ready for our next presenters. Our next presenters are from HTDC. Their program is called Innovate Hawaii. Cindy Matsuki and Nicole, how do you pronounce your last name?
Pfeffer.
Pfeffer, and they will be talking about Hawaii programs and resources.
Great, thank you so much. So aloha everyone, my name is Nicole Pfeffer and I'm a project engineer with HTDC Innovate Hawaii. And yes, as Kelea said, I'm presenting with Cindy. So next slide, please. So Innovate Hawaii is part of the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation, HTDC, which is a state agency attached to DBED, or the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, whose mission is to grow the tech economy and workforce in Hawaii. And Innovate Hawaii is the state's NIST Manufacturing Extension Partnership Center, which supports small and medium-sized manufacturers to enhance their productivity, growth, and technical performance through programs and services across the islands. Next slide. So the Mep National Network is a unique public-private partnership funded by the Department of Commerce that delivers comprehensive proven solutions to U.S. manufacturers. So there's a center in every state in Puerto Rico. So basically, we're here to help Hawaii's manufacturers through programs, trainings, and webinars. Next slide, please. So workforce development is one of our focus areas in which we have a couple of different initiatives. Our first program is the High School Manufacturing Cohort, where students from participating high schools work towards earning the Tuling U SME Certified Manufacturing Associate certification. We also enhance the experience by providing virtual field trips and guest speakers from the manufacturing industry. So if you're a manufacturer who's interested in engaging with the next generation of workforce, this is a great opportunity to reach them through a virtual field trip, guest speaking experience, or even creating an internship and job placement opportunity with us for the students who pass the certification exam. And we also partner with Leeward Community College to work with manufacturers to create apprenticeship program opportunities. Next slide, please. Another program we have is our e-commerce and digital marketing cohort program. Our next cohort will begin in late January and is comprised of 2 tracks, e-commerce and digital marketing. Both are 10-week live virtual training series that include both workshops and direct one-on-one consulting sessions with industry experts. The e-commerce track is for manufacturers who are new to e-commerce to help them gain the skills and knowledge to set up or refine an existing e-commerce platform. The e-commerce track starts with laying the groundwork for what the fundamentals of e-commerce are, as well as an overview of different e-commerce platform offerings. Participants will also be guided in creating a digital brand while learning about user experience and user interface, data privacy and practices, and will also be taught best practices in product photography and videography, email marketing, social media marketing, as well as being guided in the implementation of search engine optimization tactics and Google Analytics. The digital marketing track is intended for manufacturers who have well-functioning e-commerce platforms and are ready to scale in consumer engagement to increase online sales. This program guides participants in formulating a strategic approach to digital marketing while helping them refine current e-commerce practices that will impact digital marketing performance outcomes. Participants will learn about customer segmentation and how to identify the best digital sales funnels for their businesses. They will learn how to craft marketing messages and appeal to target audiences through content marketing, email marketing, and social media marketing. They will also do a deeper dive into search engine optimization and learn best practices in product photography and videography. The class will also discuss Google Shopping and Google Analytics. And we also have an internationalization track for people who are ready to take it to the next level and head to Japan. We're still in development of that track. And so now I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Cindy Matsuki.
Oh, thank you, Nicole.
And next slide, please.
Oh, yes, thank you. And also thank you to CNHA for giving us the opportunity to share our programs with you. So like Nicole said, I'm Cindy Matsuki. I'm the recently hired SBIR Program Manager for Innovate Hawaii, and I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to the SBIR program. So the federal SBIR, which is Small Business Innovation Research Program, they call it America's Seed Fund. It's a $3.2 billion grant fund set aside for small businesses. And small, in their terms, is less than 500 people, which is most of the businesses in Hawaii. It's a nationally competitive grant to solve federal agency problems and needs. Qualified companies will be for-profit and small, under 500 people, U.S. owned, with the work being done in the U.S. And the focus is on research and development with the goal of commercializing innovative technologies. It's a 3-phase program that goes from proof of concept to commercialization. Hawaii has a state-funded matching grant that's meant to get companies to the next phase of funding or to commercialization. Currently, we have funds for the Phase 0, which is a reimbursable grant for proposal writing review, and the Phase 1, which is for up to 50% of your grant with a maximum of $75,000. These funds are more flexible than the federal grant funds, and they help companies do things that aren't allowed with their federal funding, like travel or hiring, things like that. So it's a really great program, and it helps Hawaii companies go to market. Next slide, please. Speaking of go to market, Innovate Hawaii also helps food manufacturers commercialize new products and make sure that they're compliant with the latest food safety regulations. We provide training that includes process optimization, food safety, and assistance to scale up manufacturing, as well as how to get your product into larger markets like Costco and Whole Foods and others. Those cover all the requirements for your products, such as labeling, production volume, product standards, and more. And we also bring in other trainings to help Hawaii's manufacturing companies grow. So we offer a lot of things for manufacturing and tech businesses, which is our mission. So I think next slide. It's our last slide. Please reach out to us. If you heard anything that you could take advantage of, or if we can help in any way, you can reach me at cindy@htdc.org, or Nicole. You can reach Nicole at htdc.org. Thank you so much, and let us know if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions for either of you, but thank you for putting your contact information into the chat box. Leilani did post a comment, and she says, mahalo Kelea, Omar, Dan, Nicole, and Cindy didn't realize how many people were out there to help us and be educated on startup businesses. So I'm glad that these are new and helpful resources for you out there listening in.
All right, are you ready to go on? Oh, we have a couple more minutes. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Cindy and Nicole. Our next presenter is Robbie Melton from the Hawaii Small Business Development Center, and she's going to be talking about Small Business Development Center services.
Great, thank you. They're pulling up my slides. Hi, I'm Robbie Melton. I'm with the Small Business Development Center here on Kauai. So I'm really pleased and really grateful that you've given me the opportunity to speak to everyone at the conference today about our resources. Next slide. Like SCORE, we are a program of the Small Business Administration out to help companies and provide advice to our companies. Next slide. So we do a variety of things. All our services are at no cost. It's completely confidential, so you can feel free to talk about any aspect of your business with our advisors. And we provide a wide range of services. Next slide. So business strategy, that is our core strength. We help companies go from idea to launch and strategizing how to get there. We do business plan reviews, increase sales for companies that are currently in business. How do you get and improve your sales either through new products or new markets, international expansion? We also help businesses with employment issues. A lot of times people don't know where to turn to get help in some of the employee issues. We also help with marketing strategy and financial analysis. So we do a wide variety of services. Next slide. So we're focused on company sustainability. We're not here just as a one-time problem solver, but we're here to hold your hand throughout the growth of your business. And a lot of times our clients come, we help them get started, or we help them solve an issue. And then a few months later, they contact us again with additional assistance. We also work in operations, cash flow management. I mentioned personnel, management and leadership sometimes is a big issue for companies. You know, in Hawaii, we have a lot of family-owned businesses. So we've been concentrating a lot on succession planning and how to strengthen your family business. And then how do you overcome some of the common pitfalls? You know, as many companies right now are struggling with just finding people to hire. So what are the strategies to kind of overcome that? Next slide. So financial services, a lot of people think of SBA for our loan programs. During the pandemic, you know, we helped companies apply for the PPP, the EIDL loan, SVOG, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Now that those are pretty much winding down, the EIDL applications are being taken till the end of December. We also help people with the 7A loan and the 504 loans that SBA is known for. We also help with USDA loans and grants. We're connected to a lot of the state programs like HTDC, Innovate Hawaii, Accelerate, all the accelerators. Omar, we work a lot with Omar. We also help with microloans and, you know, all those, you know, loan programs and other types of business loans and other funding sources like investment. Next slide. So the other big thing we do is we help with the application process. You know, how do you get the proper business plan written? What are loan officers looking for in financial projections? We do feasibility studies. So if you're trying to get a USDA, a guaranteed loan, or an SBA loan, guaranteed loan, we help do the feasibility studies. We also help with presentation assistance. So if you need to make a presentation to an investor, we also help with that. So there's a lot of things we do. Like today, actually had a meeting with a client and we talked to one of the loan officers. So we're here to really hold your hand to get you through the process because we want to see you succeed. Next slide. So we basically work with everybody, from entrepreneurs with an idea to people launching their company, small businesses of any age. One of my clients has been in business 35 years. They're a manufacturer. So any age, any kind of industry, from agriculture, manufacturing to tech, all different kinds of businesses. And we also help people start and run nonprofits. So we're here for everybody. Next slide. So the other thing we do is if you're trying to start a company or expand your market, we have access to very expensive market research analysis. So some of these companies charge anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. And we actually have access to that data, and we can help you connect to that. We help you connect to key resources for your business, and we also do workshops. So that's the other thing we do. We do a lot of webinars to help educate you on different aspects of your business. Next slide. So we get measured by how many startups we help, capital infusion, jobs created or retained, and increase in sales. So because we are a program of SBA, they want to make sure that we're doing our business. So that's how we get measured for our success. Next slide. So as you can see, we have offices on almost all the islands. On Hawaii Island, we have 2 offices because it's such a big island, but these are the contact information. The best way, if you would love to get consultation, is just to go to hisbdc.org and then click on the island where you would love to get assistance from, and we'll be there to help you. Next slide. I think that's it. And so again, that's our registration process. And I'm Robbie Melton, and that's my email address if you'd like to reach out to me directly. Thank you.
Mahalo, Robbie. We just did have one question about whether there was a SBDC office located on each island, but you already answered that question. So just for clarification, the Woodlawn office on Oahu, is that in Manoa in the Innovation Center there?
It was, they just moved. So they're now in Kaka'ako at the Gold Bond Building. So close.
Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So next to the Entrepreneur Sandbox. So everything's nice and close.
Very good. Thank you, Robbie.
You're welcome.
All right. So that was our last presentation. Thank you, Robbie. Last presentation for the first set of presenters. And Ian, if you can get up the slide for the first survey that we're going to do, so I can introduce that. So while Ian gets that slide up so that you guys can get to the first survey. Oh, here it comes. That one. That's the one right there. Okay, so this is the first survey. We've broken the surveys up so that you guys don't have super long surveys, but they are formatted so that you can do them on your phone, or if somebody can copy that URL into the chat so that if you guys want to fill it out on your computer, you can also do that. The survey asks at the top for contact information, and then asks you who presented today that you would like that information shared with so that they can outreach to you guys. And then after that, it asks you to rate various business training and development topics with how important they are to you. So go ahead and complete that now. You can complete that on your phones, and you can complete that on your computer. And then, yeah. And let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat. And then we'll be taking a break in just 10 minutes. And you guys can use the chat during the break to talk to each other. Or you guys can still, our presenters look like they're staying on still, so you can continue to ask them questions as well if you want.
Are we doing random chit chat or no? We're just gonna stare at each other's beautiful faces. Are you muted, Kelea?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, we can. Our poor people that are attending can't talk to us though.
Oh shucks.
We can have random chit chat, and then they can talk to us in the chat. You guys can all talk to us. Yes.
Chit chat.
Okay, we're just gonna like talk and read you guys' comments here. All chat, Max says.
Kelea, are we able to see the results of the survey in this section, or when will we see that?
Yeah, so the survey results are actually starting to show already. The link to that is at the bottom of the agenda in the last section, but I will share the link to that right now. So you guys can start to see the results of survey 1 right away. And I'm putting that in the chat.
Oh, very cool.
Here you guys go. And it's looking like right now, small business accounting, creating business plans, financial planning are some of the top needs. It looks like, marketing and market research, help with taxes, project management. It looks like the least need is in purchasing insurance, non-employee insurance. You guys need to know that. Maybe we need to have a thing about convincing everyone that they need to know that.
Chance them.
Yeah.
Nāpua, super random question. Any chance you're related to Debbie Harbottle?
Yes, all the Harbottles are related. That's my maiden name. So, yes, I'm really related to her, but she's like a third or fourth cousin.
She's our banker, one of our bankers.
That's right.
Super sweet.
Asked about Debbie when I talked to somebody who's banked with her.
Yeah.
We got a question in the chat for you, Omar. I have been. Oh, you see it? Okay.
I have a strong sense of humor, so I'm tempted to answer with humor, but I won't. I'll go in reverse order. So Nathan, yes, the training does try to answer questions that you have, as well as uncover some of the unknown unknowns as you're endeavoring with taking your product to market, or even just simply building it out. For Pat, yes, I think we could help with franchising. We definitely have access to people who have deep expertise in it. So absolutely, would be happy to have a conversation about that and see if we could serve you directly, or if it might make better sense for you if we just connect you to those that have the franchising expertise. A great question. And also probably one of the most efficient ways to grow and scale your business. For that type of business.
I want to answer.
Sorry, Kelea. Yvette, I see you have a question. We're trying to help you with that issue. You can't see the screen of the presentations, is it? So we're trying to work on that to see if somebody can provide you some help. Okay, Kelea.
No, sorry. There's another question for Omar, and then I'm going to answer Ken's question in the chat. Omar, if you could take that question from Nathan Spencer.
And then Omar, you can read the question out so everybody
yes.
can just kind of enjoy it with you.
Okay. Yes. So Nathan Spencer had asked if I have an idea of a product. Does your training answer any questions? I think I addressed that. Yes, depending on what the questions are. We're not all knowing. but we do know a lot. And it also helps to uncover the unknown unknowns. It's funny how I glitched up on the exact same part. For Pat asked, been in the automobile sales and rental business for 22 years, thinking about franchising. Could you, or how do you feel you could assist, whether yeah or no? I've been independent since inception, and so I mentioned that we do have some experience with supporting businesses who want to franchise, but more so we have connections with experts who have deep experience with franchising. And so whether it's our program or connecting Pat, we'd be happy to look at ways that we could support his efforts. And then Auntie Tammy asked, what about helping businesses that closed due to COVID but still want to revisit the business? Absolutely. I think as long as Auntie Tammy, everyone is willing to look at how we can change to keep up with current times, right? So COVID has changed everything in the business landscape, not to mention like lifestyles. And so we would just need to look at to see how we can make the business sustainable and on a path to prosperity and being able to thrive in a sustainable way. I love it. Pivot to make it work. I don't know if Ken Farm is asking me this question, but I'll read it out. What would you recommend for Native Hawaiians needing to navigate patents? So patents is an interesting animal, if you will. My brother and I actually have several patents. So we've gone through the whole process from writing it up to actually getting it issued and protected. I'd be happy to chat about our experiences there. We have trademarks and copyrights as well that have federal registrations. So same for recommendation. There are resources available. So again, I'm not, I didn't say it, but I'm not a lawyer. I just can share the experiences that we had getting our patents. But there are several patent attorneys and firms here, as well as on the continent, that we would be happy to connect you to, depending upon what type of patent and in what sector you're looking to get patent protection on. Thank you for these questions.
Thank you, Omar, for answering them with such awesome information.
Of course.
Omar, were you able to go to the link and see the outcomes from this survey?
Yeah, I see it populate in the spreadsheet.
Okay, everybody, it is break time. We will resume at 2:30.
And I just want to encourage everybody to come back because the next group is going to be all about how to ask and get some money to support your businesses. So stay tuned, please.
Hey, Omar, are you staying on too?
No, I'll probably need to drop actually, unless you need me.
Okay. It's very good to have you here. It's very helpful. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for the space to share.
Yeah.
Also, I said thanks before, but yeah, thanks also for the patience on the presentation. I'm glad I was able to get that over, and hopefully it wasn't too much of a headache for you and Ian. I don't mind giving Max a hard time though.
Yeah. You hear that, Max, wherever you are?
Yeah, he's in the background listening. Okay.
Yay! We have break time music. Okay, I'm gonna take a break for reals, guys.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Aloha. Thank you so much.
Snowflakes fall like little flower petals softly tumbling down. Mr. Snowman with his wooden gun is guarding this whole town. and each Christmas tree with starlight glistening is all aglow with the wonderland of secrets wrapped in boxes below. As I listen to the sound of children playing in the night, I can hear the bells go jingling, tinkling bright. I hear sleigh bells ringing and Santa singing his ho, ho, ho. It's going to be a very Merry Christmas, I know. Little ones are busy sending notes. Dear Santa, I've been a good little boy. Little ones with heavy winter coats, great big bundles of joy. On the avenue, you'll see the smiling faces glowing bright. In Aurora Borealis, for this wondrous night of nights. In the hush of night, the song of Christmas comes sweet and clear. To all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. To all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Step into a world of endless possibilities. All the elements you need. Can we preserve our only home while still enjoying that thrill of being human?
no way you are holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt his word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for onward a new and glorious morn. On your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night, oh, holy night. Oh, Homeowner, killed on me now. Papogi and now I can't no, Kelea, Benna Eva Nalulu, Kawaii for air, my Olukane. How holy, Naru Himana, oh, Kavena Oka, Nāpua,
Okay, should I wait a couple more minutes? Some of our folks wandered off and haven't come back. Missing about 10 people. Okay, everyone, welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our second set of presentations. We have a little bit shorter presentations for the second session. We had 5 last time and 4 this time. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first presenter, who is Michael Ching from the Council of Native Hawaiian Advancement, and he's going to be talking about accessing CNHA loans.
Hi, Michael. Just unmute yourself and begin talking. Your slides are up.
Hi, friends. Let me go find Michael, okay? And I'll go see if he needs some extra cocoa. Is there any chance that we could move on to the next presenter in the meantime?
Sure, Kelea, unmute, Kelea.
Aikue, Kalima, you ready?
Aloha, aloha. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. You're going to be presenting, and then you are from Oha Native Hawaiian Revolving Loan Fund, and you're going to talk about Malama Loans Program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mahalo for the wonderful introduction, Kelea. Unfortunately, I noticed Hopin cannot spell my name. But my name is Aikue Kalima, and I'm the loan manager with Oahu's Native Hawaiian Revolving Loan Fund. I just wanted to say before I get started, mahalo to CNHA and to the Native Hawaiian Chamber for this opportunity to speak today with this wonderful group of presenters. Just a little bit about myself. I've been with OHA for 2 years, and I've been a loan manager for a year. My background is mortgage banking and consumer lending, so I have 25 plus years of banking and lending experience. I'm here today to share some information about our Malama business loan products. Next slide, please. In my discussion, I plan to share some background information about our program, the 2 business loan products that we offer, the eligibility requirements, as well as the financial documents that's needed. I also want to share some historical data with you folks on the program impacts, loan disbursements by purpose and by island, some challenges of the program, contact information, and I'll wrap up by spending a couple minutes answering any questions. Next slide. The Loan Fund program was established in 1989. We provide loans for those who are interested in starting or growing a business, education loans, home improvement loans, as well as debt consolidation. In 2021, we celebrated 32 years of providing loan funds to the Lahui. Our program was formed in partnership with the Administration for Native Americans. Both OHA and ANA have contributed funds over the years.
Now I see my face. Sorry, I look frustrated.
Hold on, Michael. Michael, we queued up Aikue to go right before you because you weren't on yet. So if you can mute for now, and then he'll finish, and then we'll have you come right up next. Okay. Hikino, go for it. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. So what I was saying was that OHA and ANA, they've contributed loan funds to the program over the years. The total estimated value of our loan fund is $22 million, of which $17 million is currently available to borrow. It's called a revolving loan fund, and the reason why is because every time a borrower makes a payment or pays off their balance, the loan fund is replenished, and those funds are available to other beneficiaries to borrow. So year to date, we funded $66.7 million. So basically, the loan fund itself has revolved over 3 times. ANA also functions as our government regulatory agency, so they monitor our program, make sure that we're in compliance and that we're following all federal regulations. In addition, we're also governed by a board of directors made up of 7 volunteers, 1 from the island of Kauai, Maui, Molokai, the Big Island, 2 from Oahu, and 1 from OHA. Their main purpose is to review loan applications and make any final loan decisions. So we require a minimum of 4 votes in favor of either approving or denying a loan. And whatever the majority is, that's what the final loan decision is. Next slide, please. So we offer 2 business loan products. The first is the Malama business, and the second is the Huakanu business loan. Both loan products are offered at an interest rate of 4% with a maximum loan term of 7 years. The Malama business loan is intended to assist business startups, for those small businesses interested in building their business, as well as working capital. The starting loan amount is $2,500 up to $100,000. Our Huakanu business loan product is for existing businesses, and the funds can be used to purchase equipment or inventory, as well as working capital. The loan amount starts at $150,000 up to $1 million. Next slide, please. These are the eligibility requirements for both loan products. The applicant must be at least 18 years of age and of Native Hawaiian ancestry. Credit score 600. Debt to income ratio 45%. Debt service coverage ratio is a minimum of 1.25%. If there is a co-applicant, the co-applicant must be of Native Hawaiian ancestry, and the business must be 100% Native Hawaiian owned. Next slide. These are the financial documents that we require. Number 1 is proof of Hawaiian ancestry. We will accept an OHA ID card, a DHHL lease or waitlist number, as well as Kamehameha School's database verification. Driver's license or state ID, 2 years federal taxes and W-2s, 1 month current consecutive pay stub if applicable, certificate of good standing from DCCA, a business plan. If it's an existing business, year-to-date profit and loss and balance sheet. If it's a startup, current business plan to include 3-year profit and loss forecasts. Up to 3 years business tax returns may be required depending on the loan amount. A breakdown of the use of funds, and if there's any collateral, an itemized list of assets to use as collateral. Next slide, please. This is just some historical data that I wanted to share. So in the very beginning, between 1990 and 2004, the program only offered business loans. And during that time, we funded about $17.6 million in business loans. In 2007, the Malama loans launched, and we added more loan products to our portfolio, which includes debt consolidation, education, home improvement, and we just recently added disaster relief. So year to date, we funded $43.4 million in Malama loans. And then Huakanu launched in 2011, and year to date, we funded $5.6 million. So total loans funded $66.7 million year to date. Next slide. This is just a closer look at the Malama loans that were dispersed between 2007 and 2021. So total business loans, we've closed 406 loans for $15 million. Total consumer loans, we funded 1,983 loans for $34 million. So between 2007 and 2021, we funded 2,389 loans for $49.1 million. Next slide. And this is just a snapshot of the loan disbursements by island between 2007 and 2021. So as you can see, on Oahu, we funded the most loans at $33 million. On the Big Island, $6 million. On Maui, $5 million. On Kauai, $3 million. On Molokai, just a little over $1 million. And on Lanai, $140,000. Next slide. Some challenges that we face. There are some unallowable loan activities that we are not allowed to fund. These include purchase of land, purchase or construction of buildings, purchase or financing equity in a private business, investments in high interest accounts, CDs, or any other types of investments. In addition, sometimes borrowers apply for their loan and they're not quite ready. They may need help with their business plan, or they're not too sure about the fiscal reports, profit and loss, balance sheet. We do offer in-house technical assistance. Um, the business must be 100% Native Hawaiian owned is oftentimes a challenge, especially if the business is owned by more than just one person. And for example, husband and wife, and one of them is not Native Hawaiian, that has become an issue. So we are in a process, OHA administration and ANA is in a process of seeing if we can get the blood quantum reduced. We are also considered a lender of last resort. It's in our regulations, and we do realize that oftentimes borrowers come to our program because nobody else will help them. So we do try our best to process our loans and try to fund every loan that comes through the pipeline that we possibly can. But sometimes we do have to turn down loans. And when we do, we connect them with a community resource partner that can help them. And I'm very happy to say that a lot of the resource partners that we work with are here today presenting. Next slide. For more information, please visit our website at loans.oha.org. Our email is there, narf@ohaloanfund.org. I will drop my personal email address into the chat. Beneficiaries on the neighbor islands, if you contact our local your local OHA office, they'll connect you with a Malama loan specialist. Currently, right now, due to COVID, all OHA offices are closed until January 5th. But the Malama loan program is open. We're accepting loans, we're funding loans. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Next slide. I just wanted to say again, mahalo to CNHA and to Native Hawaiian Chamber. If there's any questions, anybody has?
Yes, I do have a question. It comes from Napali Wood. He asks, are you able to eliminate the lender of last resort requirement? That's a big barrier.
You know, that's been in the regulation since day one. And that's just how ANA and OHA put it together. That is a good question. We're trying to overcome the hurdle of the blood quantum, which is a bigger issue at this point. But I can definitely bring that up to administration. That has definitely been an issue for a long time, though.
I have questions in the chat box.
All right. Thank you, Aikue.
Okay. Mahalo.
Our next presenter is Michael Ching, Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, accessing CNHA loans. And then Michael, if you can click on your microphone and video so that we can see you now. I'm gonna unmute you. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you, Kelea.
Oh, awesome.
I can't see me, but I can hear you.
Can you find your video?
Yes.
At all?
Yeah, it is open. Nothing?
No.
Okay. I am sorry for the technical problems. My video is clear. It doesn't have a block symbol on it. Perhaps I should just go through the slides.
Yes, that'll be fine.
Okay. Okay. Well, sorry everyone. Mahalo for your time. I'm so sorry for the technical glitches. Sorry we can't see smiling faces. But let me ask everyone a question. CNHA is a Certified Development Financial Institution, acronym CDFI. Please, show of hands, how many of you recognize CDFI? I don't see anybody raising their hands. Oh, one. Okay, great. For the rest of us who have never heard of CDFI, let's just say that we are a financial institution and we're not governed by shareholders or profit margins. We are governed by community. Our purpose for being in the lending industry is to help businesses get access to financial resources. So first session, There was a lot of assistance for those of you building your business. And if we use the old trite, building a car, they were your engineers, they were your designers, they helped perfect your vehicle. What do? We're the gasoline. We give your business some fuel to get turbocharged and get out there in the market and join that race. So very briefly, Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement is a member-based nonprofit organization. We serve the Native Hawaiian community. And as I mentioned before, we are a CDFI, that's Community Development Financial Institution. Next slide, please. In this function, we provide training, technical assistance, and this training and assistance is intended to help borrowers bridge financing gaps and to improve their access to financing. We also have several programs that offer financial education, and for housing, we have individual housing counseling services. Our loan fund, we provide access to capital for businesses and home construction. We serve Hawaiian individuals, Hawaiian businesses, Hawaiian nonprofits, and other organizations within the Hawaiian community and located in the state of Hawaii. Thus far, we have facilitated over 9 million to Hawaii small businesses and nonprofit organizations. And this past year, we helped 10 new homeowners build their homes on Hawaiian homelands. Next slide, please. Ours is a very focused and narrow lending operation. We are not the choice for all borrowers. We have focused our lending operation to provide support to that which we think offers the most offers potential to furnish long-term benefits and income to the borrower. So we're not the choice for, say, consumer debt refinancing, but we are a good choice if you are a startup company looking for a lender to help launch your business. We are an excellent choice if you are a homeowner wanting to build your home on Hawaiian homelands. So in essence, our product set, two categories, business loans and home repair and construction. In the business loan category, we're the state of Hawaii's sole SBA microloan provider. In this space, we have lending that goes from $2,500 to $50,000. But for some businesses that need more than that, we have other funding sources that will enable us to lend up to $250,000. Our interest rate is competitive, between 5 to 8%. And the use of the funding can be for equipment, inventory, working capital, furniture, and fixtures. Terms, 3 to 7 years, there is a 2% closing fee. And for the home repair, we begin at $35,000. The interest rate is the same as our business loans. And these are supported in addition to repair loans, home construction loans for new home construction up to $500,000. In this space, we've capped our lending at 5%. These are typically 12-month loans intended to help a homeowner finish the building of their house. Next slide, please. The most important of this presentation is this address. If you are interested in our lending, please take down this address. This is the very, very first step in our process. You go to our website, you file an application. Everything is done online. When you go online, it's good for you to have, of course, your contact information, your business name, your loan amount, but also have handy the purpose of your loan, a description of your business. A business plan isn't required, but definitely helps so that our underwriters can get a sense of how we can best support you and how your business supports the Native Hawaiian community. Eventually, we'll need to see your income, debt, and your debts, and financial verification or financial documents that verify your income, expense, and asset liability presentation. Once our underwriters have studied your request, if a loan is approved, it then is presented to you in a commitment letter. Agreements are then signed and you are funded. Next slide, please. Other than our website, if you want to contact our loan manager, his name is Chris Kuiva. This is his direct email address, and this would be the other method of accessing our lending operation. But if you're ready to launch your business and you're ready for financing, then again, I encourage you to go to our website and fill out an application. And thank you very much for your time.
Mahalo, Michael. I don't have any questions for you in the chat box, but I do have a question for both you and Aikue. What are some of the things those who take out one of your loans can do to ensure that they are able to pay back the loan, especially when they encounter challenges like we have, with the COVID pandemic, and any other unexpected challenges that might prevent them from being able to pay their loan on time?
Are you asking questions about existing borrowers?
Yes.
Okay. So for us at OHA, we do have we have programs where we can help them if they fall into hard times, either do an extension or do some type of loan modification. But everything is case by case. We look at their overall situation and see what the problem is and try and see if we can identify the problem, and if necessary, connect them with a resource partner who can help them address the problem and get them back on track.
We are very similar to Aikue in that our support is one-on-one, personalized, individualized, tailored. One of the nice things in our staff is that we are more business experienced than we are finance experienced. So we understand the business operation and its banking. And so we have resources like payroll protection. There is debt relief. We can bring those resources to the borrower if they are available. Then within our own organization, we can restructure the debt to suit the borrower. In most cases, borrowers can manage themselves out of a situation within 12 months. And so we try and structure resources or a change of the program for that 12-month period and get them back.
That's definitely not something you'll find with most lending institutions.
It helps to be community driven and community missioned and not profit based. If we had shareholders to service, I don't think we could do that.
Questions at this time?
Okay, thank you very much, Michael.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next up, we have Kavika Burgess. His screen says Sonoy. He's logged in as his daughter, but this is Kavika indeed. And he is the president and CEO of Alliance Commercial Finance, and he's going to be speaking to us today about alternative funding solutions for small businesses.
All right. Thank you, Kelea. Aloha, everyone. So yes, my name is Kavika Burgess.
Hold on. I cannot hear you. I'm unmuting. I'm forcing you unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
All right. So aloha, everyone. Yes, my name is Kavika Burgess, and I'm with Alliance Commercial Finance. We specialize in business and commercial real estate financing. We are entrepreneurs funding entrepreneurs. Next page. And so one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs and small businesses out there is lack of capital. We know that 1 out of every 5 businesses fail within the first year. And depending on the source, as many as over 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. One of the primary reasons for business failure is lack of capital. We also know that 86% of small businesses rely on credit or financing for survival. But at the same time, as many as 7 to 8 out of every 10 funding requests that the banks received are denied. And so many entrepreneurs don't know where to go to get access to capital. Next page. And so I was in that situation about 9 years ago. I was working for the largest private landowner here in Hawaii, managing a portfolio of real estate. And I got the idea to start my own real estate management company. And so I developed a business plan. Pro forma was putting the resources together. And I knew that I needed working capital for my business, both working capital as well as financing for real estate investments for myself and my clients. And I met with my contacts at the local banks and found out what loan programs were available. And then really just by chance, I came across a private lender based out of New York. And he introduced me to the whole world of non-bank financing, private lending, and alternative financing. And long story short is I got so intrigued by it that I not only started a real estate company, but I started a finance company as well, and felt that I had learned something very valuable that could be beneficial not only to myself and my business, but to other entrepreneurs and business owners as well. So next page. And so really the problem that we seek to solve is, again, there's a disconnect in the market between entrepreneurs and small business owners looking for capital. And the typical place that we go to most of the time is typically your bank or your traditional lender. And if you can get financing there, that's fantastic. That's great. But again, statistics show that most business owners, most entrepreneurs are not able to get financing from the traditional banks and lenders. Yet what we found is that there is a whole world of capital available. It's in the hands of private lenders, small specialty banks, alternative finance companies, today more and more fintech companies. But those entities don't have brick and mortar buildings on every corner. They don't have national sales teams or national advertising campaigns. And so we've been able to kind of navigate that path and solve that maze to alternative and other types of financing. And now we assist entrepreneurs in navigating that path as well. And in a nutshell, one of the problems is that this is a bit of a generalization, but most banks and lenders do want you to have all three of what I call the 3 C's. So cash, credit, and collateral. Well-established businesses with good cash flow, good credit among the business owners. Hopefully you own a home and have other assets that can be used to collateralize the loan. With private lending and specialty finance, we can typically finance a company even if it has just one of those 3 C's. And that's what I'll share a little bit about next. Next slide, Ian. And so again, we can typically fund on any one of the 3 C's: cash flow, credit, or collateral. So cash flow for businesses, even if you've been in business less than 3 years, but more than a year, and have recurring revenue, typically about a minimum of 10,000 in recurring revenue, even if the business owners don't have the greatest credit, we can typically provide short-term loans or lines of credit, 6-month to 24-month terms. This is typically a good type of loan for restaurants, bars, service-based businesses that do, again, have kind of regular cash flow, but might need capital to expand, to sustain during slow times, expand into other locations, that type of thing. So typically service businesses. Next slide. Credit is another one. So business owners, even if it's a brand new startup business, no revenues, no assets. As long as the business owners have credit, it can be as low as 500 and a minimum of typically a 40,000 in household income. But this is a fintech partner that we work with to assist business owners and entrepreneurs in getting unsecured lines of credit. This is definitely our most popular program. We, on average, we assist our clients in getting between 50 and 150,000, and it's based on the business owner's personal credit and then the business credit. What's also unique about this program is we don't only assist businesses in getting the unsecured lines of credit based on their current qualifications, but we actually assist businesses in both building their business credit and enhancing their personal credit so that we can increase the unsecured lines of credit for the business over time. So it's a really popular and very successful program. Next slide. And then the third of the 3 C's is collateral. And so this is just a quick summary of a few of our programs, but a lot of small and growing businesses might have existing assets that can be used as collateral for financing. So again, even if you've been in business less than 3 years, maybe you don't have the best credit, but if you're making sales and you have accounts receivables, where maybe businesses are paying you over time, 30, 60, 90 days, and you need to get that financing sooner. We have accounts receivable financing. There's purchase order financing if you have purchase orders, contract financing for contractors that might have big contracts that need capital to expand. And those are all different types of asset-based lending that's available. Next slide. Equipment financing is another one. We recently helped just a small dump truck company on the Big Island get a second truck. They're a growing business, just needed a truck. Even they weren't in business, just about a year, not the greatest credit, but we have equipment financing programs that can help businesses get the equipment they need, even if it's a startup, even if they have maybe B, C, or D credit. And these are typically term loans that can help a business get equipment finance or equipment for the business, trucks, trailers, that type of equipment, even restaurant equipment, software, technology equipment as well. And then next slide is the SBA program. And so I think the CNHA does provide microloans for the SBA, 2,500 up to 50,000. We do SBA loans up to 5 million. We have been able to help businesses that have been turned down by the banks and their SBA programs. Our SBA programs are a little bit more flexible. We do work with preferred lending partners. So these are specific SBA lenders that are pre-approved by the SBA. So it does reduce kind of the underwriting and the time frame for funding. Typically, though, for the SBA loans, generally speaking, you do want to have good credit, about 650, strong financials, even if it is a startup. The business owners want to have good financials and a good business plan, and then typically a good background in the industry that you're in. And then the last slide. So again, that was just kind of a review of some of the different types of financing available. I was amazed as an entrepreneur, didn't know that all of the other types of alternative specialty financing available. There is financing available for small businesses, even if you've been turned down by a bank or other lenders. And we can also often supplement or complement financing if you've been able to get funding from a bank or one of the other lenders, but still have additional financing needs. And our loan officer is my daughter, Sonoy Burgess, and this is her contact information here for additional information. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Kavika. I don't have any questions in the chat box yet, but I do have a question for you. I always want to know, how lenders like you are able to get the money back and have timely payback on the loan. So, for instance, there's a lot of interest in going into farming today.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be able to finance someone who really has no experience in farming? Because we do have a lot of people who have no experience in farming that are interested in doing this. And then finance the purchase of the farm, the equipment, and then maybe, startup money for small staff.
Yeah, that's a good question, Nāpua. And actually, I've previous experience kind of in the ag industry and do get a lot of requests. And so it's an area we're working on adding some additional programs to support farms and ag-related businesses. But that being said, we don't currently have financing available to assist a farmer in purchasing land or a farm. We do have we have sources that we refer businesses to, so we can make those referrals. But what we do have again is like unsecured lines of credit that can be for even a brand new farmer getting started. And that program, actually, I'll share, like I shared with you, typically banks and traditional lenders are turning away most of the applications. That unsecured line of credit program, we can typically fund 8 out of 10 businesses. So we're kind of turning that approval on its head and being able to fund a lot of businesses. So there's unsecured lines of credit, kind of startup capital, working capital. And then there is equipment financing as well, where we can assist in potentially purchasing, a tractor or other equipment, trucks, or that type of thing. So there is some financing available, and then we have some referrals that we work with to get others the other types of financing if we're not able to assist.
I don't have any other questions for you.
Mahalo.
All right. Thank you so much, Kavika. Our next presenter is Jeff Gilbreth, and he is the Executive Director with Hawaii Community Lending, and he's going to be talking to us about CDFI, his CDFI, and credit repair.
Great. Everybody can hear me? We're good? Excellent. So, mahalo, Kelea, and to all the other presenters. It's an honor to be here next to you. Today, I'm really talking about access to credit and capital. Pretty generally, we're not what I would consider a small business lender, but for a lot of you folks, you have to put your own personal credit on the line, as Kavika had mentioned. And that's really where we come in. And our tagline is, we don't say no, we say how. So take you to the next slide. Great. So a couple things I'm just going to go over is our organization, our impact, the financial products we have available that I think complement really well the other presenters, and then some education and counseling resources that are offered by our partner, Hawaiian Community Assets. So next slide, please. So Hawaii Community Lending actually takes its story back about 20 years. We were founded initially as a nonprofit mortgage brokerage of Hawaiian Community Assets, which is our parent corporation. We were the first nonprofit mortgage brokerage in the state of Hawaii at the time. In 2014, we actually became a certified Native Community Development Financial Institution, or that we started our process, and we became certified in 2016 by the Department of Treasury. This basically gives our stamp of approval. We have to report to them quarterly and annually. We are a self-regulated institution, but this means that we do need to meet some liquidity requirements and other requirements of Department of Treasury. We are a social enterprise of Hawaiian Community Assets, so all the interest and fees that our borrowers pay go back to support free financial education in our communities, in particular for Native Hawaiians. We're currently a $6.5 million revolving fund. Our average loan is about $6,400. We've got close to 500 borrowers currently. 78% of them are Native Hawaiian. Our offices, we are a virtual lender at this point, but you can find us in person at financial opportunity centers that are run by Hawaiian Community Assets across the state. We have 10 staff and 3 amazing board of directors, all of whom are Native Hawaiian. Go to the next slide. So this is a little bit about our mission and vision. And what I'll say is that our organization, as well as Hawaiian Community Assets, was really established to create economic justice and equity for Native Hawaiians. And it really is our vision that Hawaiians will own a home and really to reconnect to Aina. It's a critical tool, we believe, for spirituality, for food security, for healing trauma from the separation of Hawaiian people from ancestral lands. And this is really our vision for when families can come together. They're going to anchor a 21st century Hawaiian economy. And we'll be talking about and have that centered on Hawaiian values, equity, and well-being across our communities. So this is what drives us. Go to the next slide. A little bit about our impact. So, small fund, we've originated a little over 800 loans for $4.3 million. And our support has either gotten folks into rentals, purchase homes, prevent foreclosure or eviction for nearly 1,000 families in our 7-year history as a direct lender. Go to the next slide. Or back, that's fine too. No, other way. One more. Perfect. So financial products I'm going to share with you folks about. And again, I'm coming from a lens that, you as a business owner need to make sure that your own finances are in order so that you can access all the capital that's available. But oftentimes you got to put your own credit on the line to begin. So if you want to go to the next slide. In terms of our emergency grants, so our financial products for emergencies. Right now, we are offering $1,500 grants to Native Hawaiians for rent, mortgage, and utilities. No income requirement. You do have to be in financial hardship. Another thing that we are offering now is we are administering what's called the Homeowner Assistance Fund. If you are a business owner who is a homeowner, we can provide grants up to $30,000 to pay past due mortgage or to reduce your monthly payment on Hawaii Island and Kauai. And if you're facing just general emergencies and you have nowhere else to go, no credit union or bank that's willing to lend to you, we do offer an emergency loan up to $5,000 unsecured. We risk rate our loans, so you might get one from 4% up to 18% with a max term of 5 years. And continue forward. We also have products for economic opportunity. So, if you're someone who's got like a low credit score, maybe no credit score, right? You haven't really gone into this world of credit that can be really convoluted. We can get you a small $1,000 loan. It's secured up front. So basically you pay into us every month. And it's like a savings account that builds credit over time. So we charge an 18% interest, which is basically $100 that you pay us for that $1,000 loan over a 12-month term. So this is really to help you. Like I said, if you have no score or low credit score, we have been able to bump folks' scores on average 690 points in 12 months from 0 to 690 with this product and a loan as small as $250. So it works, and we know how to move the system, but you have to continue to access other types of credit to keep that score up. We also have a debt consolidation loan, and this is really our bread and butter. We do a lot of these up to $25,000. If you have judgments, collections, liens, high interest credit cards, payday loans, we can use this to be able to pay those off, and then you pay us back. We do typically unsecured for these. But if you're adding in like a Santander auto loan for 26% interest, we'll take a partial security of that car in the process. Our interest rate ranges 8 to 12 on this and a maximum 5-year term. Again, we're helping the folks that you can't qualify at a credit union, can't qualify at a bank, but with our help, you will be able to. And maybe we even can get you over to Aikui and some of the folks here once we get your feet on the ground. You can go to the next slide. And the products keep coming. So we have economic opportunity loans. So business owners need homes too. And that's probably where our organization the best. That's why I said, we're not really a small business lender, but we serve the needs of small business owners and entrepreneurs. And so we have a homeowner assistance loan we've been going pretty aggressive on. This can be used for land acquisition. That might be you as a small business owner that's buying land for your business and yourself. right? Site development. So if you need to put septic in the ground or get that site ready with infrastructure, we can do construction, down payment, closing costs. You have to be Native Hawaiian for this one. And you have to be under 100% area median income for the county in which you reside. We're doing up to $100,000 loans for this. We can do unsecured, we can do secured. So we really work with you and whatever other sources of funds you may have to make sure you're getting the best deal possible. We range our loans from 2 to 8%. Typically the 2% is set aside for nonprofits. So if you're a nonprofit that's in this realm, we can do that. Maximum 180 to 360 month terms. And then for you folks, specifically for businesses that are nonprofits, entrepreneurs, social enterprises, to create affordable housing opportunities. So we don't just fund the renters and the home buyers and the small business folks, we fund the builders of affordable housing, right? And so this loan is $100,000. We typically do it as a line of credit that's unsecured. Again, 2 to 8%, the 2% reserved for nonprofits. And we can do a maximum 10-year term. But I set this apart because as a lender, we're not focused on doing small business loans. You should absolutely go to CNHA, Aikui, or Kavika. But for us, we may be that stepping stone for you if you are an affordable housing builder or someone that's in that game. But if you need help personally, we are, I think, the lender of first choice. But of course, if you get better deals at credit unions and banks, we'll get you over there because we get small kind money. So go to the next slide. How does all this work? Really, what makes our loan fund move and continue to move is our education and counseling that's delivered by Hawaiian Community Assets. So these are some of the services that we provide. If you can go to the next slide. So for all of our loans, we require folks to get financial counseling. So we ask for folks to come in, enroll in a financial opportunity center near you. You can go to hawaiiancommunity.net to do that. You can go online with the application, or you can call over the phone or stop in person at one of our sites. Our teams come from the communities where you're from and where you're at. So you're always welcome in our hale. Technical assistance is available to those who are getting social enterprise loans for affordable housing. So we can walk you through doing some pro forma work. Affordable housing development can get a little tricky. So we can connect you with other technical assistance providers as well. And then the referrals to Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement primarily, though Aikui and the team at the Malama Loan Fund have come up more recently. So we can refer over there. I do think Michael and the team at Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement have a great small business training and technical assistance program. We don't do that. But if you want help with your own personal budget, your family budget, your personal credit report, that's where you come to us, right? So I think that's it, unless I have a slide on there. Oh, there we go. Great to see all you folks. And this is our website. We'd love for you to check us out. And mahalo again, Nāpua and Kelea for letting us share.
Mahalo, Jeff. I don't have any questions in the chat box again, but I do have a question.
Okay.
So it looks like a bit of something for everybody here today. So, I had asked Kavika about whether he would be able to give me a loan to buy a farm, if that's what I was interested in. It sounds like you could, at least up to $100,000.
It's a possibility. I would say give us a call. Like I said, we don't say no, we say how. It might fit. We would be expecting that somebody's going to live on that land, right? That would be kind of the one thing we'd be doing. But yeah, I say give us a call. You never know, right? And if it's not us, maybe it's a combination of all of us together,
Exactly. Thank you. Mahalo. No other questions in the chat box.
All right. Mahalo.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. That concludes the second group of presenters, but maybe if you guys could stay on for a little bit longer, we find that people watching still have some lingering questions that they come up with. a few minutes afterwards. Ian, can you put up the slide for the second survey? So we have a second survey. Sorry we did so many surveys, but we are trying to break them up so that you guys wouldn't get bombarded with way too much information. Again, you can take this survey on your phone or you can do it on your computer. And there's a little bit of overlap in the collection of information because we broke apart the survey. So go ahead and still provide information even though you were asked for the same thing. Basically your name and your email address. Continue to provide that information even though we asked you that before, so that we can match that to the survey results that you're giving us regarding what products and services you are most interested in hearing about more of in the future. There's a QR code on the slide, or you can use the tiny URL. Also, Ian just posted the link in the chat if you guys want to use that. And then in the chat, let us know if you guys have any questions. It looks like our finance capital folks are staying on a little bit longer if you guys have more questions for them. Otherwise, thank you very much. And then we will be going on to our next, where did the agenda go? We'll go on to our next, we'll have one final special presentation at 3:30. And then, so in 5 minutes from now. And then after that, we're going to do the wrap up, which is pretty interesting because then you can look at the survey results. We're going to have a workshop evaluation, and then we're going to provide you with a link to additional resources. So please complete the survey now, and then stay tuned for the next, for the special presentation at 3:30. I also wanted to say at the end of the survey on the thank you page, there's a link that goes back to the in-depth agenda. That agenda has all the links from all the presenters today, how to find additional information, how to go back and look at the survey results later. So if you guys didn't save that agenda, please, when you're done taking the survey, click on the link to the agenda and then bookmark that and save that so that you can reference that information again later.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Aloha, come on now, your white Christmas. Oya kamuai ike ai. Mena Alaolali alohe na keiki ina pelekani kahau. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. E maula hau oli aoa e ka malu ia lani e.
Aloha, I'm Shannon Ely, President of the Native Hawaiian Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement for providing our chamber with this amazing opportunity to connect with all of you through this breakout session. Mahalo also to our NHCC team, Nāpua, Kelea, and Ian, for coordinating and facilitating today's session. Mahalo to our presenters for taking time out of their busy schedules to share with our attendees all of the amazing things they are doing for our business community. And finally, mahalo to all of you for spending your afternoon with us, and more importantly, for being an active and engaged attendee. Your participation in our survey will provide us with important and valuable information that we and our resource partners intend to use moving forward. And in return, we hope you were able to learn more about resources available to your business and others in the community. While today's session is ending, our work is just beginning. Before I talk about the plans we have for next year, I'd like to speak a little bit about our chamber and the work we've done over the past 18 to 24 months. If this is the first time you're hearing about or interacting with our chamber, then please allow me to share our mission, which is to malama Native Hawaiians in business and commerce through leadership, relationships, and connections to economic resources and opportunities. Prior to COVID, and like many organizations, we relied heavily on in-person events to provide our members with educational and networking opportunities. So when COVID hit, we were of course quite nervous about the impact COVID would have on our organization. However, like so many, we pivoted. We took advantage of technology and changed our focus to communication. We partnered with other organizations and we utilized social media and email to push out relevant information to our members and colleagues. We utilized that time to learn more about the impacts of COVID on the Native Hawaiian business community, and we learned more about our organization and what is important to our members. It is also during this time that we have seen the largest increase or growth in our corporate membership. And our new members have not all been in the same industry. Rather, we have connected with businesses in many different industries, which tells us that our Kanaka businesses and nonprofit organizations are looking for something. Some are looking for resources. Some are looking to be a resource. And others are looking to connect with each other. And some simply want to be part of an organization with like-minded and culturally grounded individuals and businesses. Whatever the reason, it is our goal as the Native Hawaiian Chamber of Commerce to work toward meeting those needs. In addition, we partnered with the Neighbor Island Native Hawaiian Chambers of Commerce and NAHA to launch Kuhi Kuhi, a directory of Native Hawaiian-owned businesses. We formed an informal collaboration with the Kanaka Economic Development Alliance to help get more businesses registered on their directory of Native Hawaiian-owned businesses. And we launched our own online corporate member directory to provide another layer of visibility to our corporate members, a majority of which are Native Hawaiian owned. Whereas even a few years ago, there was not a centralized and updated location to find Native Hawaiian owned businesses. Now there are several, which to me means more opportunity for our businesses to be seen, to be found by those that want to support Kanaka businesses, and for Kanaka businesses we will be hosting a two-part membership base, as well as the community in general. So where are we going? First, we intend to continue to prioritize connecting our members and the community with resources and facilitate connecting with each other. To that end, in February, we will be hosting a two-part virtual resource fair. Similar to today's event, we will feature resources spanning different subject matter areas and covering the entire state. What will be different is that we will feature keynote speakers during plenary sessions. We will also be featuring resource tables. So you will have the opportunity to select whose table you want to sit at or whose room you want to be in. These will be limited to 8 people, and you will be able to move around. This way, our attendees will be able to customize their experience and really get the information that they are there to get and most interested in. In addition, as we know that folks are really hungry for networking opportunities, we will be incorporating a speed networking component, done either one-on-one or in very small groups in order to provide a meaningful networking experience. We will be putting out more information on this event over the next month, and we hope to see all of you there. While we certainly intend to keep virtual events for the foreseeable future, after the new year, we are also planning to incorporate in-person events back into our programs. Some of you may know that our signature fundraising event is the Ooo Awards Gala, which honors the contributions and accomplishments of Native Hawaiians. Historically, this event has been held at the Hilton Hawaiian Village with attendance of over 500. We were not able to host the Ooo Awards Gala in 2021, but we are quite optimistic that we will be able to resume the event in 2022. We will also be working to maximize the power of group buying, which will result in discounts for our members. We already have a number in the works, both with member and non-member organizations, and we are excited to let our members know about these as we roll them out. There's so much more that I could talk about, but the last thing I want to note, and which is really quite fitting, as we were just a little over a month away from the 2022 legislative session, is advocacy. From our perspective, advocacy provides us with the ability to come together and address policy and legislation that impacts Native Hawaiian businesses. Moving forward, policy and advocacy will be a core focus area of the Chamber as we embrace our kuleana of looking out for the interests of and advocating on behalf of Native Hawaiian businesses. We already held 2 virtual workshops and intend to host another prior to the start of session. We will also be tracking legislation and submitting testimony where appropriate. If you are not already on our email list, please go to our website to sign up. Advocacy is a kako effort, and we definitely need all of you to be engaged in any capacity, whether that's simply being aware of issues or whether it's actually submitting your own testimony. All of it is important. With that, if any of what I have talked about resonates with you and you are not already a member of our chamber, please, I invite you to join us. We are waiting for you. Just visit nativehawaiianchamberofcommerce.org and you can submit your application online in just a few minutes. If you're not quite ready to take that step, then I would encourage you to at least subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on social media. That way you can at least see what we're doing, be kept updated on our events, and take advantage of the information that we're putting out. Again, on behalf of the Native Hawaiian Chamber of Commerce, big mahalo to all of you for joining us today. We cannot wait to connect with you at a future chamber event. Aloha.
Awesome. So that concludes our presentations. Let's take a look now at our survey results from today. Ian, can you pull up the slide for the survey results? I'm going to share for the second half, the second survey that we took today. It looks like one of your guys' biggest interest was in knowing about how loans can be used to grow your business. That was your number one interest. That was followed by wanting to learn more about cash forecasting. And it looks like equally or maybe slightly more, you were also interested in shopping for alternative lending resources. And the thing that you guys least wanted to know about was shopping for traditional loans. So that's very interesting. To be able to see these results, when you go to this link, it might not be the first thing that pops up. You'd have to scroll down. So survey results from the first survey we did today is at the top. The results from the second survey we did is at the bottom. Also, I want to remind everybody, this is a needs survey. So the links are in the agenda that I had you guys save. And you guys can come back if you missed taking any of these surveys. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. If you guys missed taking any of these surveys today, you can still access them later on today, over the next few days, and still take those surveys. But please do take them as soon as possible. We want to get the information out to the presenters today so that they'll be able to outreach to you if that's what you requested. And then finally, we have our workshop evaluation survey. This is actually second to the last thing. We'd like you to complete the workshop evaluation survey. Please give us feedback because we're going to keep bringing resources to you guys. We're going to find you and find some way to keep presenting resources and putting them in front of you guys. And we want to make sure that we're doing this in a way that is interesting to you, that can hold your attention, that's getting you the information you need. We want to find out what's the most important to you. So please take this evaluation survey today so that we can find out how we did today and how we can improve. And then after this is posted, we have a final slide. So the workshop's evaluation survey is also in the chat right now. We're also going to provide you a link. Here you go. It's to additional resources. So to take the workshop survey, you guys can look in the chat. The survey link is right there. And then for additional resources, that link is now up on the screen. That's another one. Bookmark this. This is constantly, the link is constantly under development. More and more resources will continue to be added here. And so you should come back and reference this multiple times in the future. Do any of my co-presenters have anything else they'd like to say?
I'll say something. there's a little history that kind of goes with how we got here today, and it has to do with really holding informational sessions, caucuses, prioritizing what the business community needed and wanted. And every time we just kept hearing the same thing over and over again. And that was, we want more access to capital, more access to resources, and more access to business and professional development. And so this has been a long time coming. And, like Kelea says, if you take this survey, we are going to take it and find more resources for you. We kind of focused on the resources that we have here in Hawaii, but there are so many other resources outside of Hawaii that you all can access to take you to wherever you need to go in the business world. So I just want to thank you ahead of time for being here and for participating and for providing feedback so that we can provide this kind of information for you and for anybody out there who needs it. Mahalo.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if I think I'm frozen. My screen is frozen, but I think you can still hear me.
I can see and hear you. I can see you moving and I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It's just frozen on my side then. Well, just to echo what Nāpua said, thank you everybody for joining us. I'm hoping, we're all hoping that you heard something, at least one thing that you really needed. And as Shannon shared in her presentation, we really want to make things like these, providing resources, tracking them down, providing them to our members and Kanaka businesses, over time, as we, as Kelea said, they're always changing. So we want to make sure that we're up to date and providing the most accurate and useful information. And that's why it's so important that we get feedback from you. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? What resources do you want us to try and hunt down and provide for you? And there's a lot of change, a lot of good change coming with the chamber. And under the leadership of these fine ladies, including Shannon, I think you're going to see a lot more big things as we continue to pivot and add more kuleana to what we do at the chamber. And as you heard Shannon say, policy and advocacy is a big thing that we usually hear the big chamber talk about, but not so much the specialized chambers like Hawaiian Chamber. But we want to make that a core component, and that's going to be crucial in leveraging our collective influence on putting in place the foundational things that need to happen for business, opening doors for Kanaka businesses that, especially to other, in general, access that business owners have, but in particular to make sure that our Kanaka businesses thrive here in our own home. Yeah. So stay tuned. Please join us, become a member, stay involved, and we will continue to work with you to incorporate all of these things and much more. Mahalo. So Kelea, I think you can take us out and end the session. Any last comments? And then say ahuyo.
All right, I'm seeing the surveys, the final evaluation surveys coming in. Thank you guys so much for that. If you have not yet opened or completed the survey, please do that. It's super helpful to us for the future. And I do want to ask if anybody else wants to say anything else. Do you guys have any other questions? Do you know how to find us? Right in the chat. Okay. Looks like we're all good then. Thank you so much, everybody. This was a beautiful workshop.
Oyo